that I'm at an all-time
Hey guys, so today I'm going to be sharing my top 30 Hey Arnold episodes, and I know I just could have done a top 10 list, but there are so many great episodes of Hey Arnold that I had to do a top 30 list. Oh, and in case you were wondering, I am 14 years old. Well, when I started this channel, I was 13, but my birthday was on February 15, so in case you're wondering, I'm 14 years old. So yeah, like back in November, I said that I would make this video, but it's June right now and I still haven't made the video, but here's the video now. And in my Get to Know Me Hey Arnold style video, I did not say my favorite Hey Arnold episode because I wanted it to be a surprise for this video. I didn't want it to be obvious when I made this video. And a disclaimer, I'm not going to be full-on reviewing episodes. I'm just going to say some things that I like about them because I'm not cut out to do reviews because I'm biased. I'm pretty biased. I can be biased at times. Okay, that was kind of a joke, but it kind of wasn't. Okay. But yeah, I'm just going to be saying things that I like about this episode. I'm not going to be full-on reviewing them because I don't like to do reviews because I am not good at them at all. So yeah, let's get into the video now. I'm not going to be showing any footage for any of these episodes, besides just the one picture, because I don't know where to get quality footage, and plus, I don't want to get copyrighted, so I'll just do this. Okay, so number 30 is Weird Cousin. I know that I'm going to be judged for liking this episode, and I can't really explain why I like this episode, and I feel like if I explain why I like it, I'll be judged, but I just really do like this episode. I mean, not enough to put it like high up on the list, but I like the short tacky scenes, even though the gum scene was really gross. And even though Arnie's creepy, I like to see him in an episode. So, yeah. Guess that's all. Number 29 goes to Miss Perfect. And Miss Perfect is the first appearance of Lila. So, even though I hate it when Lila's shipped with Arnold, like, even though I can't stand her being shipped with Arnold, she's actually a pretty good character on her own, even if she's a Mary Sue. And I really do like the first appearance of Lila. And I just like the way she's introduced in this episode, and the ending of this episode is like amazing because they realized what they did wrong and they start over and then they become friends with Lila. And I know that Helga is still jealous of Lila, but it's because of Arnold. But yeah, and like I love the ending, and especially where Helga gets hysterical and like she just feels so bad. Like she shows that she feels so bad. Like it's really rare for her to like show that to other characters. Like it's not rare at all for her to show it to the audience, but it's rare for her to show that to the characters. So I love how she's just like feels so apologetic, and Phoebe even slaps Helga because she gets hysterical. That's one of Phoebe's savage moments. Sometimes Phoebe has those savage moments, and that's one of them. So yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about this episode. Number 28, The Haunted Train. Okay, so something I really like about this episode is that this trio shown on the screen is in it and having an episode together. Arnold, Helga, and Gerald. Just Phoebe's missing, but I do like to see these three together. And look, Helga is touching Arnold's shoulder. Okay, let's get back to it. Okay. So yeah, this is a really good episode. I like it because of that. And I realized that in season 1, like including this episode, Helga has like these traumatic freakouts, but like not in the other seasons. For example, in this episode, she was like, "We're all gonna die, we're all gonna die," and like she was also like that in Death Subway and Roughing It. But she doesn't do that in the later seasons. Just something that I noticed. Number 27, The Big Scoop. Okay, so just so you know, I'm not rating these episodes based on how much shortaki there is, because that wouldn't be fair at all. Like, there's a difference between saying, like, rating the episodes based on how much shortaki there is, and saying that shortaki is something you liked about the episode. Like, those are different things. But, anyways, this is an underrated episode. I barely hear anybody in the Hey Arnold community talk about this episode, and I think it deserves some more praise. I like the premise of the episode, and I like how there's a competition between Arnold and Helga, and I like the fake news articles that Helga writes about Arnold and Gerald. Like, I know it was kind of mean, but it was really funny still. Like, Gerald still plays with his little sister's dolls. Like, I like the fake news articles and that Helga makes about the people. And yeah, I definitely think that this episode deserves more praise because it's underrated and I barely hear people talk about it in the Hey Arnold community. So I think this episode deserves to be talked about more because it's a good episode. Number 26, Summer Love. Okay, so I was gonna say, oh yeah, like this is gonna be like a complicated like review on it. Like, not really a review because I said this isn't a review, but like I have a complicated explanation. Like, this episode makes me feel conflicting emotions. Like, it makes me feel some negative emotions, but like the negative emotions like go on to the positive emotions. Like, how do I explain this? Well, this is an amazing episode. Even though it makes me feel conflicting emotions. But like, this episode's amazing and it deserves to be on the list. So in this episode I feel bad for Helga, but like, because after she builds up the courage to apologize to Arnold, he doesn't believe her. He doesn't believe that Summer is taking advantage of him, but I understand why Arnold doesn't believe her. Like, unlike Egg's story, she actually did stuff in the beginning of the episode. I understand why Arnold doesn't believe Helga. Like, even though I do feel bad for Helga, I understand why Arnold doesn't believe her. So that's the negative emotion I feel about the episode, but it doesn't matter because this episode's amazing because Helga built up the courage to be nice to Arnold, like after, like, in the second half of the beach stuff. Like, Helga built up the courage to apologize to Arnold, and the scene where they build sandcastles are just, like, it's so sweet, and, like, I can't really, like, explain a good explanation of why I love this episode, but I love this episode, and yeah, like, it's so sweet when Arnold finally believes her because Helga proves it, and I feel like Arnold and Helga got closer in this episode, and it's just a really cute and sweet episode. Like, I guess if I didn't feel conflicting emotions about this episode, I would have put it higher up on the list, but nonetheless, this episode's amazing and deserves to be on the list anywhere. 25, The Little Pink Book. Okay, so this is one of the first episodes in the whole series, and it's also the first episode where Helga sneaks into Arnold's house, because that's a recurring theme in the series, which all the episodes based around that are great. And yeah, I love seeing Helga's poems and diary and poem book for the first time. And yeah, this is a great episode. Like, and also the scenes where Arnold and Gerald were doing these like science experiments to see who the book is from, like was pretty bizarre and funny, not gonna lie. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this episode, I guess. Like, this episode's good. 24, Roughing It. Now, this is another underrated episode that should get more praise, because I love this episode. And yeah, like, it's a pretty calm and simple episode, but like, that's great. And like, something I like about this episode is that Helga is actually like really nice to Arnold. Well, no, not like uncharacteristically nice. Like, she's just not mean to him. Like, aside from just like one snarky comment, that wasn't even that bad. And I love how the characters are just like camping together, and also the way that Arnold was eating the steak and eggs was hilarious. Just like, you have to see it. The way that he was eating the steak and eggs was hilarious. And yep, I love that Arnold and Helga get along, and like, they can get along. Like, trust me, they can. They're meant to be. But yeah, Roughing It is an amazing episode that should get more praise. 23, Helga Sleepwalks. So I know I'm not going full on elaborate in this list. Like, I know that reviewers like Pie Guy Rules and Gem Reviews go full on elaborate in their lists, but I'm not going to go full on elaborate because I'm really, really bad at reviews. So, and I'm just doing it differently, so I hope you can accept that. Okay, so I love the concept of Helga sleepwalking to Arnold's house. It's like really funny, and it's a good plot. And I love seeing the things that she does to try and stop sleepwalking to Arnold's house. Oh yeah, this is another Helga sneaks into Arnold's house episode. And I noticed that Phoebe like knows Helga's secret in this episode, but she doesn't know her secret in other episodes. Like, in this episode, it's not just hinting that she knows, it's straight up telling us that she knows Helga's secret about loving Arnold, and she doesn't know the secret in other episodes, but like, in this episode, she just like, she knows. Like, just something I thought I would bring up. But yeah, this episode is a really good episode, and it was one of my first episodes. Number 22, Save the Tree. Like, before I get into saying what I like about the episode, just look at Gerald's hat right there. That part always made me laugh. What I love about this episode is that it's another Helga like secretly doing nice things for Arnold thing, and it's really, really sweet. Like, how she risked her life to help Arnold save the tree because she knows that Arnold like wants to save the tree a lot. And of course, I love everyone else trying to save the tree. And I love it when when Helga jumps into Arnold's arms. Like, that was such a cute, short, tacky moment. Number 21, Hey Harold. Okay, so don't worry, there are episodes on the list that don't have to do with Helga or short tacky, and this is one of them. So this is when Harold and Patti first meet, and Sid and Stinky are making fun of Harold for hanging out with Patti because she has this reputation, this like bad reputation. And what I love about the episode is that Harold stands up for himself. Like, I would get footage of it, but like, I don't want to get copyrighted right now or ever. But what I love about Harold standing up for himself is that Arnold doesn't even tell him to do it. Like, there's other episodes like Weighing Harold and like some other episodes where Arnold tells him what to do, like to stand up for himself, but Harold just does it by himself, and that's amazing. So yeah, this episode is a really good episode, and it deserves to be on the list. Number 20, What's Opera Arnold? So this episode is a parody of What's Opera Doc. And it's not a ripoff because obviously I know that Hey Arnold will never rip off anything. Like, it's just a parody. But this episode is super fun. Like, this episode's amazing and it's so fun. Like, this is a really fun episode. Oh, and I love it when Helga takes over the opera, which is shown on the screen right here, a screenshot from that scene. And I love all of the scenes where they sing, like all the characters sing opera, and Arnold and Helga's dreams of opera. But yeah, this episode is a really fun episode. Number 19, Helga's Love Potion. So this episode is about Helga taking a break from her Arnold love-hate obsession. I like the concept of this episode, and I love how Helga realizes that, like, life is just boring without her obsessing over Arnold, because, like, I know how boring it is to not obsess over things, and I also know how painful it is to have a crush, so in a way I kind of relate to Helga in this, so yeah. And yeah, this is a good episode. And I know like that what I'm saying is short, like each portion is short on here, but I'm not full on reviewing as I said, so yeah, that's what I have to say about Helga's Love Potion, and it's a good episode, and I'm putting it on the list. Number 18, Monkey Business. Okay, I'm just gonna say that this episode doesn't get talked about much, and yeah, this episode's a mature episode because Helga literally thinks that she's gonna die. Like, they say the word expire, but she literally thinks that she's going to die, and the reason why I love this episode a lot is because I relate to Helga, because Helga in this episode is a hypochondriac. And a hypochondriac is somebody who is abnormally anxious about their health, and they obsess over like an illness that they don't have but they think they have. And I am a hypochondriac myself, and I have hypochondria, which is an anxiety disorder. And yeah, in this episode, Helga's a hypochondriac, so I relate to her. In this episode, and this episode does not leave you, like, on the edge of your seat because you know that Helga's going to be okay, because they're obviously not going to make her die in a kid's show, and plus she's, like, very, 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 very important to the show, because the show would be nothing without her. So, yeah, like, I just relate to her in this episode because yeah, I've gone through what she's been going through, and I hope that other hypochondriacs can relate to her in this episode, because I relate to her in this episode, and I know that she's gonna be okay, and I'm so glad she's okay, and I love the ending of this episode. Well, Helga almost confesses her love to Arnold, but Phoebe finds out that she doesn't actually have, this monkey disease. I forgot what it's called, but Phoebe finds out she doesn't have this monkey disease, and, like, what a good friend, like, finding out what's actually going on and stopping her from confessing her love to Arnold. And I love it when Helga says, like, Arnold's okay, like, yeah, like, I think you're an okay guy, and, like, Arnold touches Helga and says, you're okay too, Helga. And yeah, nice shortaki moment right there. Number 17, Buses, Bikes, and Subways. Okay, so something I really like about this episode is that it's an episode that focuses on Helga and Harold together, and I think those are two good characters to focus an episode on together. Like, I just do, and yeah, like, there's this scene where Helga basically roasts Harold, like, for what he's done, and, like, well, that speech was like savage and brutal, and I liked it, but I do feel bad for Harold though. But like Helga apologizes at the end actually, and it's rare to see her apologize to someone, like to their faces. So I really like when she apologizes to Harold. And I honestly love it when Arnold gets concerned about Helga, but he doesn't seem to be concerned about Harold. He seems to be more concerned about Helga when she's missing. And yeah, like, please don't comment about how, oh, it's because she wasn't throwing things at him. Like, us Shortaki fans like to create Shortaki moments no matter what, okay? So please don't be a killjoy by commenting that, because even though that might be true, I like to create Shortaki moments, and I do think that he was worrying about her because he cares about her, so yeah. And I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that I have to bring Shortaki into everything. I am so sorry. Oh my god. I know I bring Shortaki into everything. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's buses, bikes, and subways for you. Number 16, Phoebe Skips. Okay, so Craig Bartlett, the creator of the show, like, said that at first Phoebe was created for, like, as Helga's sidekick that, like, and Phoebe gets Helga stuff, and, like, at first that was, like, her purpose, but then she became, like, a super important character to the show. And, like, she's a very important character to the show, and this episode shows it. Like, this episode shows that Helga genuinely cares about Phoebe, and, like, Helga realizes that, like, she should have never tried to replace Phoebe. And just like this, there was this sweet moment at the end where Helga tells Phoebe that, like, she's more than just her sidekick, and she's her best friend, and she forgot that, but then she realized that again, and that Phoebe is her best friend, not her sidekick, and not just a person to boss around. And Phoebe says, "You're my best friend too, Helga," and yeah, I love this episode because it shows that Helga genuinely cares about Phoebe, and Phoebe's actually an important character to the show, and Phoebe's not just the sidekick that Helga pushes around, like, she's Helga's best friend. And that's what I love about this episode. It shows that Helga genuinely cares about Phoebe. And they're best friends, and it's the best friendship in Hey Arnold, in my opinion. Like, next to Arnold and Gerald, like, Helga and Phoebe is such a great friendship, and that's what I love about Phoebe Skips. Number 15, The Journal. What I love about this episode is that it tells the backstory of Arnold's parents, and why they're gone so long. And it's pretty sad, but we know that Arnold's parents obviously love him. And this episode is a prequel to the Hey Arnold Jungle movie, which, by the way, is the best movie in the whole entire freaking world. Like, I enjoyed the Jungle movie so much, guys, and, like, I'm so glad that Arnold found his parents and got together with Helga. Okay, sorry for mentioning Shortaki again, but I am, like, equally glad that he got with his parents. Like, he found his parents. Like, I'm equally glad that he found his parents, and, like, I'm so glad he found them in the Jungle movie. And The Journal is an amazing episode to, like, yep, The Journal is an amazing episode for the backstory. And yeah, number 15 is The Journal. Number 14, April Fool's Day. Okay, so I have a whole bunch of things to say about this episode. So let's get into it. Don't get me wrong, I used to hate this episode, but The reason why I used to hate this episode is not a typical reason why other people hate it. I don't think that anybody else used to hate this episode or hates this episode because of the reason I did. So, I'm just going to say it. Here we go. The scene where Helga was temporarily blinded triggered my anxiety really badly. And this is not a joke because I would never joke about anxiety, and I have an anxiety disorder, and the scene where Helga was blinded triggered it a lot, and I just automatically hated the episode because of that. And yeah, like, that's what happened to me. Like, the reason why it triggered my anxiety is because, like, I always get worried about my eyes, and that's just when people get blinded, like, I just get like all this anxiety attack. And so if this episode affected me in that way, why is it on the list, and why is it relatively high on the list? Well, okay. When my adrenaline calmed down, I gave this episode another chance, and I think this episode's really special. This is a super special and unique episode. And I know that a lot of people hate it because Helga was, like, more mean to Arnold than she was, but honestly, that's kind of justified in the Hey Arnold movie. Not the Jungle movie, obviously, but, like, the Hey Arnold, the movie, because she confessed her love to Arnold and she wants him to forget about it, so she's, like, boosting up her bullying. And yeah, so I understand. And I love the concept of this episode because Arnold is playing her game, and that's so cool. Like, Arnold is playing Helga's game. And yeah. And I know that Arnold would have never ever blinded Helga on purpose. Like, he didn't even know it would blind her, so, like, and he felt, like, extremely bad about it. And I honestly, like, really like the scenes where Helga is, like, taking advantage of Arnold, pretending to be blind. She was going for a piggyback ride on him and ordering this big milkshake and stuff. Like, I honestly like how she was taking advantage of him. And let's talk about the tango scene. The tango scene was super, 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 super amazing. I love that scene so much. It's a shortaki scene, and I love it so freaking much. Okay, I'm getting crazy here. But yeah, and, like, Arnold was kind of rough in the tango scene, but, like, Arnold was feisty in this episode, and I kind of like it. But, like, when I had a panic attack because of that scene where Helga got blinded, like, unfortunately, unfortunately, that scene is a scar on the episode for me, if that makes any sense, but I did give it another chance, and, like, when I don't think about that scene, this episode is amazing, and it's super unique, and it's a really special episode. Oh, yeah, and, like, I know that a lot of people, like, don't want to include specials on their, like, lists, but I'm doing it anyways. Spoiler, my favorite episode, my number one episode, is a special. Just a spoiler. I'm so sorry for spoiling that, but I'm not going to say what it is until we get to number one. So yeah, when I take away that scar from the episode for me, like when I had this anxiety attack, it's a really special episode, and it's an amazing episode, and it deserves to be on the list. Like, I originally wasn't going to put it on here because of the scar thing. Like, the scar's a metaphor, but yeah. I wasn't originally going to put it on here, but I decided I need to because, like, the episode's amazing and it's so special. And yeah, this episode sums up to a really unique episode. And I know that Arnold would never, ever intentionally blind Helga. Like, I know he would never, ever do that. And just, like, I'm just gonna, like, say one thing that's nitpicky, but it's so weird. Like, Arnold's voice is really weird in this episode because of the voice actor, but, like, that's just nitpicking. Like, this episode is a very special episode. and I'm glad I gave it another chance. Number 13, A Day in the Life of a Classroom, or Simmons documentary as Amazon and maybe some other platforms like to call it. I think this episode's really funny, and Mr. Simmons has some out of character moments in this episode, and they're really funny. Mr. Simmons getting out of character is hilarious, and he much deserves to get Teacher of the is it Teacher of the Year or Teacher of the Month? I don't remember, but he deserves it because he's an awesome teacher. My dogs are barking. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but my dogs are barking. And Mr. Simmons almost cusses twice. And also he yells at the class, and he was like, "Quiet, we got a lot of work to do." And it's really funny to see him out of character. And yeah, this episode has a lot of funny moments, and this is a really funny episode, and I enjoy it. Number 12, Dinner for Four. I love that my two favorite ships, Shortaki and Gerald x Phoebe, are having a double date together. It's awesome. I mean, if we get a season 6, I'd love to see them have a real double date, because they're couples now. I love them to have a real double date as couples. And I love how Helga's trying to be sophisticated and pretending to be sophisticated, even though she's just better the way she is. She's better when she's not sophisticated. She's better when she's just being herself. But I do like the way she's trying to be sophisticated too. And yep, I hope if we get a season 6 and they go on a double date, I hope that Helga doesn't mess up the restaurants this time. I hope that Helga doesn't get the wrong restaurant again. But yeah, this episode is so cool, and I love the ending where Arnold sprays Helga. That's one of the best scenes of the show. I just love it when he sprays Helga. It's so cute, actually. Yep, number 12 is Dinner for Four. I love Dinner for Four. Number 11, Arnold Visits Arnie. This episode is super unique and cool because we get to see the doppelgangers of the characters, and they're really cool, and they're the opposite of what they would be in the real world. Lila is Arnie's girlfriend, but has an immense infatuation for Arnold. That's pretty weird, but Harold and Rhonda switch personalities, and so do Gerald and Sid, and Phoebe and Stinky do, and Helga is herself, but she doesn't have the callous disguise, and even Abner has a doppelganger, Abigail. And yeah, this episode is super unique and cool. And I love the ending where Arnold hugs Helga because she's acting how she would in the real world. I'm sorry, I have to bring Shortaki into everything, but this episode is much more than Shortaki moments. It's super unique and cool. Okay, that's the third time I've said that, I'm sorry, but yeah, Arnold Visits Arnie is an amazing episode. I love this episode. It is time for the top 10. Let's go. Number 10, Helga Blabs It All. So this is another episode where Helga sneaks into Arnold's house, and it's my favorite one where Helga sneaks into Arnold's house. And this is one of the more adrenaline pumping episodes. I feel so bad for Helga because she blabbed her own secrets while she was on laughing gas. And yeah, but this episode gets your adrenaline pumping because go see Gem reviews it. Go see the top 10 Hey Arnold episodes by Gem Reviews, and he can explain better why it's a good episode. But I'm just gonna say it's my favorite episode where Helga sneaks into Arnold's house, and it's a great episode. Number 9, Arnolds Christmas. This episode has a sad backstory with Mr. Wynn. He had to give up his daughter because of the war. And he hasn't seen her since. That's one of the most saddest scenes of Hey Arnold. But this episode has so many pure of heart moments. Like all Mr. Wynn wants for Christmas is to see his daughter, and Arnold does everything to try and find his daughter, to try and find Mr. Wynn's daughter. And Helga is the Christmas angel, and Helga gave up a present that she wanted so bad to help Arnold find Mr. Wynn's daughter. And that shows that Helga can be selfless a lot. She can be very selfless. And this is an amazing Christmas special, and I love to watch it every Christmas. And I wonder if Arnold knows that Helga is the Christmas angel. I wonder if he found that out, later. Number 8, Arnolds Valentine. I love this episode so much. Oh my gosh, I love this episode so much. And by the way, this is a really cute screenshot of Arnold / fake Cecile. And yeah, I think that Helga looks much better with her hair down than those buns that she had in the beginning of the date. So this pretty much shows that Arnold likes the nice side of Helga, because that's what she shows throughout the date. Oh yeah, and the plot about having 2 dates at once, and having 2 things set up, and making excuses to go to the other place, and stuff like that. It's a classic plot, but it works here too. It works pretty much anywhere. And this episode, Arnold gives up on Ruth. I just thought I'd mention that. And yeah, this episode has such cute short tacky moments, and and yeah, basically Arnold is being with Helga because she's acting how she would without the callous disguise. There has to be some other things I can say about this episode and why I like it a lot and why I love it. But this video is getting really long, so I'm just gonna say that. Number 7, school play. I love this episode so much. And I love how Helga schemes to get the role of Juliet. And honestly, I would do the same too if I had a chance to kiss my crush in the play. I would do the same too. I would totally do the same. Oh, and Lila also finds out about Helga's secret about loving Arnold because, she has to tell her. And Helga kisses Arnold for the first time. The first time Helga kisses Arnold. Oh, memories. And now in the Jungle movie, we have Arnold kissing Helga for the first time. Oh, I love both the kisses. But this is an episode that's great for short tacky, and Helga's I was just being professional. You think I wanted to kiss you? Arnold, probably ended up finding out that she did want to kiss him. Then why do you kiss me so long? That's a good question, Arnold. That is a good question. But yeah, this episode is amazing. I love it so much. Number 6, Helga versus Big Patti. This episode makes me fangirl every time I see it. So the first half of this episode is brutal, and when I first saw like the first half of this episode for the first time, I had no idea this episode would mean so much to me, and I had no idea I would still like Patti after what she would try to do, even though what she did was like in the first half of what she did. But this episode is proof that Arnold cares about Helga a lot. I love how Arnold just stopped Patti from... Arnold stood up for Helga and stopped Patti from beating Helga up. And at the end, Patti even said, "Hey, you and Arnold, you guys, do you two have some kind of thing for each other?" Even she knows. Even Patti knows. Okay. So yeah, this episode makes me fangirl every time I see it because of Arnold standing up to Helga. And Helga and Patti sort of become friends in this episode too. Patti's actually a great side character despite what she did in the beginning of the episode. It's time for the top 5. Number 5, Beaned. This is just one of the cutest episodes of Hey Arnold ever. And this episode's so cute, and this episode is perfect for shortaki shippers like me. And Helga pretends to have amnesia in this episode. At the first point, she has it for real, and then she fakes it. Just like how in the April Fool's episode, she was blind for real at first, but then she pretended when she got her sight back. So those are 2 similar things in both those episodes. As you can see here, Arnold's sharing his umbrella with Helga. That's a callback to Helga on the couch. Basically. I do feel kind of sad in the beginning of the episode, even though I know none of this is Arnold's fault, and I know that he would help Helga if he realized that she needed it. It still kind of makes me sad in the beginning of the episode, and I'm really irritated with Gerald in this episode, because, Arnold would help anybody, if they got amnesia. Not just Helga, but, it's so cute how he's helping Helga. I just love it so much. So, yeah, Gerald irritates me, but, that's just, a minor complaint I have in this episode. Is super cute. Oh, my cat's purring. I'm not sure if you can hear it or not, but my cat is purring. I love all the shortaki scenes in this, and I love how she always calls him by the wrong name on purpose, Artemis, Arliss, Andrew, and other names that start with A. And I love the scene where, Helga puts Arnold's hat on her nose and how she pretends to not know how to eat pudding and stuff. I just love, pretty much every scene in this episode except for Gerald being why are you helping her? Gerald was really annoying there. But other than that, this episode is, one of the best episodes of the series, as, it's on the top 5, so... You already knew that was my opinion, so yeah. And Helga is selfless at the end because she stops pretending to have amnesia because she realizes that she's keeping Arnold to herself basically, so she stops faking amnesia. And I love it at the end where Arnold was I know I don't have to walk you home. I want to make sure you're okay. This episode was just a fangirl fest for me, and one of the cutest episodes of the whole series. I love it so much. Number 4, Arnold's Thanksgiving. So in this episode, Arnold and Helga are in the same boat. Every year they both have a lame Thanksgiving, and they don't have a really good Thanksgiving. And And they find each other, and like they start hanging out together, and this episode proves that they can get along really good. And I love how at the end they both realize that they have like stuff to be thankful for and about their Thanksgivings, and that's just the Hey Arnold charm that Hey Arnold always does, the lessons. And like that's what's great about this episode too. And it proves that Arnold and Helga can get along, because they actually get along pretty well. And I love it at the end where Arnold says, "Happy Thanksgiving, Helga." Kind of like how in the Christmas episode, Helga said, "Merry Christmas, Arnold." I fangirled so hard. Like I was fangirling when Arnold said, "Happy Thanksgiving, Helga," and I like fangirled, and like my mom was like, "What?" And like he just said Happy Thanksgiving. Like parents just don't understand. But yeah, this episode's amazing, and it's the best holiday episode in the series. So yeah, that's what I have to say about Arnold's Thanksgiving. Number 4, Arnold's Thanksgiving. Number 3, new teacher. Okay, so I know that I mention Shortaki like in almost every review. I didn't want to call it a review, but I'll just call it a review because I can't think of anything else to call it. I know in all of my quote-unquote reviews, I mentioned Shortaki in all of them, but to be fair, I did try to mention something else other than Shortaki in all of them too. But here's one where I don't mention Shortaki at all because I love this episode. And there actually isn't Shortaki in this episode. I love it a lot. So this is the first episode where Mr. Simmons appears. And he's a better teacher than Miss Slovak. I am so sorry, Miss Slovak, but Mr. Simmons is better than you. Okay. Oh yeah, like nobody in the class liked Miss Slovak either, because like when when Principal Warts like said, "You are getting a new teacher and Miss Slovak is leaving," and then like they were like, "Yay!" Even Arnold was like, "Yay!" Like everybody hated her, I guess everyone hated her. But like this episode like makes me crack up every time I watch it. Like when I first saw this episode, I was just like cracking up so hard, and this episode is hilarious. Like it has so many funny gags, like when they're like trying to act like a mob of wild animals. Like basically that's what we're gonna call it. Especially when Helga and Harold switch names, and like Mr. Simmons is like, "What is your name?" And then Helga's like, "Helga," and then no, Helga's like, "Harold," and then Harold's like, "What?" And then Helga's like, "Quiet, Helga," and then Mr. Simmons is like, "Harold," and then they were both like, "Yes." Like that was like one of the funniest scenes of the episode. Like it's hilarious. And pretty much like all the scenes of them like trying to like fool Mr. Simmons is hilarious to me, and pretty much all of the scenes of like them fooling Mr. Simmons is hilarious to me. And I also love it when they keep asking Mr. Goose a whole bunch of questions, and I love it like when they get Mr. Simmons back and like they don't take him for granted anymore. Like that was a great scene too. I pretty much love all the scenes in this episode. Like it never fails to make me laugh, and the ending is great too and genuine. So yeah, that's what I have to say about new teacher. Number 2, Helga's Show. So I feel like this episode doesn't get talked about too much, and I feel like this episode's kind of underrated. I mean, I saw someone on YouTube like saying Helga's Show was okay, and like it's one of their least favorite episodes of Hey Arnold. But I shouldn't be feeling in the wrong for loving this episode. Like I don't think that they messed up the moral in this episode. I think they do this episode good, and it's a lot like the episode Squirrel Jokes from SpongeBob Season 2. Like, Helga's Show and Squirrel Jokes are really similar. So something that I really love about this episode, like one of the main things I love about this episode is that Helga's my favorite character, and like I love to see her do impressions of the other characters, even if like at first they get offended by them, but like at the end they learn that they should like laugh with themselves and not be offended too easily. So like I do love seeing Helga like being everyone because she's my favorite character in the whole world, actually. So, and honestly, like, I was surprised to see her, like, not do an impression of Arnold. Well, at the end she did, but, like, in the beginning of the episode, I was surprised that she didn't do an Arnold impression. Like, I was, like, really surprised. And Arnold thought her stand-up thing was funny. Okay, I'm sorry that I had to bring up Shotaki again, but I'm so sorry, but, like, and yeah, at the end, they learn not to be offended too easily, like, as long as Helga doesn't, like, excessively, like, roast them, and I know she won't, like, excessively roast them like that. She just did it, like, these few times. And yeah, like, they like the, roasting. Well, I don't know why I'm calling it roasting. So, basically, she is kind of roasting the characters, but roasting was not a term back then. But, like, they thought the impressions were, like, funnier, like, way funnier and better than the, than just, like, her just, like, sitting there, or, like, standing there saying nice things. And, like, the second time she did it, like, it wasn't, like, as mean as the, first time. So, yeah, I think this episode's really funny and underrated. I'm not sure if you can hear that or not, but there's, like, sirens out there. I'm not sure if you can hear that or not. You can probably hear it. I don't know. But yeah, this episode summed up to be really good, and I really love this episode. And it's top 3 material to me. Okay, everyone. It's the time you've all been waiting for. Time for number 1. Which is the best Hey Arnold episode, in my opinion, and my favorite Hey Arnold episode, and probably my favorite cartoon episode of history. This is probably my favorite, like, cartoon episode in the history of cartoon episodes, not just in Hey Arnold. So let's go! Number 1, Helga on the couch. Okay, so, like, this episode is super sad and dark. But why is it the best episode of Hey Arnold, in my opinion? Well, the reason why I think that this is the best episode of Hey Arnold is because this episode is like a piece of Helga's character. I feel like that everybody who, like, starts watching Hey Arnold and has no idea what it is, like, would be better off watching this episode first than Downtown No Fruits. Because I just feel like they should be watching this episode first, because this is, like, a crucial, like, piece of Helga, and it's a backstory of, like, why she acts this way, and why she loves Arnold so much. Like, we know that she loves Arnold because he was the first person to treat her with kindness. And we know that she's mean to Arnold because she was bullied for liking him, and she picked up these anger issues from her dad, and yeah, she was neglected, and, like, compared to Olga, and she was neglected because of Olga. And it's super sad. Like, this backstory is just, like, extremely sad. But this is the best episode of Hey Arnold because this episode is a piece of Helga, and we know why she acts this way, and we know why she loves Arnold, and we know why she's mean to him even though she loves him. Like, we know why she turned out this way. Like, she's much more than just a bully, and we know that she has a soft side deep down. She has a soft side deep down, and there's people who disliked Helga, but there's people who disliked Helga before this episode, but they grew to love her because they know about this backstory. And some people misunderstand it and say that, like, oh, like, this is just an excuse for her character to be mean. Like, well, no, that's not it at all. Like, it's just showing that she's insecure, and it's a way of understanding why she acts this way. And she picked up these anger issues from her dad, and she was bullied and neglected. And it's not an excuse of her, it's not an excuse for her to bully. It's just a way of understanding, because and they portrayed this so respectfully. They portrayed her backstory very respectfully, and it's very sad and deep. And if you haven't seen a Hey Arnold episode at all, I highly recommend that you watch this episode first, because it's like a piece of Helga. Like, this episode is a piece of the character. Like, and that's rare we get that. And yeah, sadly, they portrayed this realistically, and this does happen in the real world, and they portrayed it respectfully too. And yeah, number 1 is Helga on the couch, because, like I said, it's a piece of her character. And that's why it deserves to be number 1 on the list, and it's my favorite episode in cartoon history. And that is the end of my top 30 list, and my cat's purring, so you can probably hear her purring because she purrs so freaking loud. But yeah, like, you should tell me what your favorite Hey Arnold episodes are, and I know that I mentioned Shortaki, like, in a lot of my quote-unquote reviews, so please don't comment about that. And like I said, I tried to, like, mention some good stuff that isn't Shortaki related to not be biased. And yeah, you should tell me what your favorite Hey Arnold episodes are. Just, like, comment what your favorite Hey Arnold episodes are. And also, please do not judge me or anybody else for the episodes that they like, because it's their opinion, and people don't deserve to be judged for what episodes they like. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!
That I'm at an all-time that